And we are back. I'm Ellen Miller, sitting in for Scott today. And with me is my lovely wife, Kathy Voltmer, sitting in for me today. We're back, and joining us now are Second City's Kat McDonnell and Second City alum Claudia Martinez, creators of Meant to Be Seen, a pilot sketch series that celebrates the impact of American culture and comedy on a Mexican-American gay little thing. Welcome to the show, Kat and Claudia.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. They're also brand new homeowners. How's the new condo? We helped them find a new condo.
Yeah, it's great. We love it.
Have you unpacked fully yet?
Oh, not fully. There's still boxes and sort of piles that you're like, what is this? I don't know yet, but we will find out.
Well, it's a process, and I'm glad you're in. You're going to be there for the summer. It's a beautiful place to be, and I think you found the perfect place, so we're thrilled for you guys.
Oh, we think so, too. Yeah. Thank you.
So, tell us about Meant to Be Seen. Claudia, I know this is your baby, and Kat, you also are a part of it. But Claudia, let's start with you. Give us the background on the show, on the sketch series.
I've been doing sketch comedy for the last 12, 15 years. And, you know, it's kind of been... It's been in the works in the last year because you have all these ideas and there's a part of you that's like, oh, I'll do something with them, and finally decided to do something. And it's really just, like I think the description pinpoints it perfectly. It is a reminder of how much American culture has impacted me. I mean, my parents are immigrants and they came to the country, but I was born and raised here, and everything that I've seen, it's interesting to see now with the climate that's going on, how much that, you know, has kind of introduced me into like American culture at a very, very early age. Mm-hmm. Like I would sneak down and watch I Love Lucy marathons and things like that. And so it's such a big part of my existence here that, you know, I just was like, let's just write down. And I noticed that when in writing these sketches that a lot of it was like sort of memories of other iconic movies or situations. And it's just very interesting that these things kind of live in the back of your head and inspire you. But it's very silly. It's very dumb. It's also kind of the very first time that I've sort of experienced knowing who I am as a comedian. So it's really exciting because I'm putting something out there that's finally meant to be seen.
You say you feel like American comedy and pop culture has kind of shaped you, but have you ever really felt seen by it? And how are you reflecting, whether you have or haven't, in your new show?
Wow, that's a really good question. I feel like, so, you know, as you know, I was at Second City for the last 10 years and on a resident stage for the last 3 or 4. And I think in recognizing that there's an audience seeing me, yes, but not particularly because it's not my entire show. So I think maybe this is the first time that I will feel like that. I think it's interesting because the cultural side of it is acknowledging that I live sort of two worlds. My parents mostly spoke Spanish, and so it's like these two worlds that are parallel to each other but don't kind of intersect really, and then they do at some points. And so it's been cool to write this because I feel like, I don't know, I think you can watch this and say, oh, this is in reference to a lot of the stuff that I grew up as a, you know, Caucasian American. You know, there's no differentiating. It's kind of what I'm noticing, and so I think it's really cool because, you know, I think it'll be the first time that I probably get my stuff seen as an American who is creating comedy on a bigger scale.
And are your parents reflected in this? And if so, how do they feel about it?
You know, Yeah, there's little touches. We've sort of been playing on just the idea of getting caught doing something in your bedroom, and the normal thing as a teenager is being caught doing something, maybe kind of weird, but mine is being caught putting on a wig and doing some stupid character or something like that. So, there's slight tinges of it. We've also been playing with like creating a scene where it's all in Spanish and then subtitles in English, just to sort of, because the two worlds do mix in my personal life, but on screen or like on comedy, you have to write so that people can understand in the English language. That's been an interesting thing to figure out how to make that seem like it's just part of the show and not specifically a left turn.
And who
to show you that?
Do you have a target audience for the show?
If you think about sketch comedy, I mean, I think you can look at stuff and you go, who is this targeted to? I think everybody. But I think it's really interesting. I'm like going through my brain and going, how many people that look like me are doing any sort of sketch comedy? If you go through the sketch comedy shows that are out there, it's mostly a male-dominated world. It's mostly in a white male-dominated world. And so, my hope is that a lot more diverse people are able to see it and go, hey, that's me up there, or there is, a different path for that sketch comedy world. And so, probably more diverse people, but also, regular people. I mean, I think the stuff that I do can relate to just like any specific or non-specific comedian out there right now in the Chicagoland area.
We've been speaking with Second City alum Claudia Martinez, creator of Meant to Be Seen, a new pilot sketch series. She's doing it in collaboration with a longtime friend of the show and one of the guest commentators the last couple of years on the WCPT Gay Pride Parade broadcast, Kat McDonnell. Let's bring in Kat now. Kat, what's the creative process like between the two of you, and how does this collaboration work?
Well, I have had the good fortune of working with Claudia in in a creative way for a long time. And that's sort of where our friendship began, which is really cool. And so we kind of already have this built-in process where, like, I've directed Claudia before. So I know a little bit how, like, when she brings an idea in, my job is to sort of, hear it and help, how do we not even in a language way, just how do we translate this idea out, or how can I help just with any sort of feedback or structure or whatever. And so with this show, I think it was one of my favorite sketches in the show was one that we were sitting down and writing together and visualizing our friend Maureen was going to say this line because this sounds like Maureen, and truly, or just coming up with inspiration, we play a piece of music and what does that make you think of, and now we're on a spaceship, and just sort of getting to brainstorm with your favorite person in the world, and then kind of take it another step from there.
So is there a challenge in being both partners in life and partners in this collaboration?
I think the cool thing about this collaboration is I'm 100% in the passenger seat in terms of the only goal I have for it is for Claudia and her vision to be seen. Mm-hmm. So I think however I can be helpful with that at any time is great. And if we did have a different idea on something or a different process, we'll defer to hers because it really is her project and it's her life and it's her inspiration that we're trying to capture and follow, which for me is just really fun because I feel very I feel very inspired by it. It's teaching me new things. The way her brain works is so different than mine. Mm-hmm. And it's so visual and it's so beautiful. And then I get to be inspired by it, and then I can go do my own thing, like, off of that sometimes.
And you,
yeah, and the hope is that we both, the next turn will be cats, and we sort of just support each other that way.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like, okay, how do I help you?
Well, life isn't fun if you're with a partner that's exactly like you, right? I mean,
I can attest to that.
No, we are very different. We are very different as creators, and we're very different as like people in our partnership. And I think in both ways, that's why it works.
Indeed,
Truly, yeah.
I can imagine. Also, now you refer to it as a pilot sketch series. What is let our listeners know what is the hope for this, and what does it mean to be a pilot for this series?
So our goal was
go ahead.
Is to record a series of sketches, and so these are like short ideas and like short scenes. If you think of something like I Think You Should Leave by Tim Robinson, and you watch that, it's a series of short scenes, and then together they make an episode. And so we are creating like a short pilot, which would be like the first episode of this, and shooting it and funding it and welcoming any additional funding, so that then we can shop it and people could look at it and see, oh, do I want to make more of these? Like, this is the first of many episodes. Claude, would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope. It's also just really hard to be a performer like we are, where, you just focus on sketch and you go, what are my options? And your options are move to LA and grind for another 10 years and hope someone picks up your stuff, or you make a connection, or you make it and, you hope that you can get some financial support. And that's kind of where we're at with this, is that if we believe if we make it, we can show it and someone can go, oh, I like that. And that, you have to make your way a lot in the comedy world and with a lot of stuff. So yeah, the hope is that, we create a really good product, and I've been blessed with like a really awesome team. Kat and I have found like people that are willing to do stuff for free that are really good at what they do. So, we know, I think the reassurance from people like that joining the project makes us feel really good, because it's like, I don't think they would donate their time if they didn't think this was not good.
Yeah. So when you say show it, just how do they? What do they do? Are these the people that are helping your team to get it seen?
Yeah, there is some connection to some managers and agents who know people, but there's also the path of submitting it to festivals. So all this stuff costs a lot of money, is what I'm finding out.
Sure.
And there's all those different avenues. I don't know if Kat can think of anything else, but yeah, you're basically sort of giving it to someone to show to someone, or putting it out there through festivals so that people can see it.
Makes sense.
It sounds like creativity and staffing are not your challenge here. Your biggest challenge is the financial. How can listeners help out with that? Where can they reach out?
Yeah, if you would love to help us and support us in this project, you can. I think the easiest way, we have a GoFundMe, but the easiest way, since we don't have access to like giving people a link right now over audio, is you can follow me on Instagram at Claude Boom. So I'm going to spell it out, ClaudBoom on Instagram, and I have my link directly to that GoFundMe page. And by the way, that used to be a nickname in high school that I had as a wannabe breakdancer.
Yeah, I was about to ask where the boom came in. Okay, that makes sense. So,
I just thought at the moment,
why
was I good? No.
Sure you were. There weren't as many women doing it, so I'm sure you were at the forefront. I have to ask you both before we let you go. Claudia, who's your biggest influence in comedy growing up? Was it Lucy, or was it somebody else?
It was Lucille Ball, definitely. I mean, I alluded to earlier to sneaking down and watching marathons, but that was literally my childhood up until I still do it. But I think it's just that acknowledgement of a strong female presence that can do it so well. That has kind of carried on. So, there's Lucy, but there's also someone like Molly Shannon, and there's people in the Chicagoland community that a lot of people don't know of. And that's part of the other reason that this project is interesting to me, because I want to use those people. This turns into a place where apparently, like the comedy is born here, but people go elsewhere to get it.
Right.
And so the goal is maybe I can provide work for people that I think are really funny. And it's people like, that I have the pleasure and the honor of working with now that I never thought I would be. So yeah, it's a long list.
Yeah, we're lucky. We have it's an embarrassment
really
of riches here in Chicago when it comes to improv and comedy.
Yeah.
We're very blessed. How about you, Kat?
It's a great question, and it feels kind of like silly to say, but there are some Second City alums that people will never know about, except for maybe like the people who worked with them. So like we know Tina Fey, we know Rachel Dratch, but the other woman that was on main stage with them for some of their best show, like a really like an incredible show, Paradigm Lost, was this woman named Jenna Jolowitz. And it's like when I go back and we have access to the archives of Second City, and I watch this woman do so many ETC and main stage shows, and I'm like, this woman is amazing, right? And like that's how I feel when I watched like Mary Sohn and Beth Malusky on ETC. That's how I felt when I watched Katie Rich on main stage. And honestly, it's how I felt. Sounds silly, but it's how I feel watching Claudia too. And
that's so sweet. Well,
speaking of Beth Malusky, I do have a improv show with her at Tuesdays at 8 p.m. at IO. If anybody wants to make it out to some live comedy.
Yeah, IO Tuesday. Every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday at IO 8 p.m. The title of the show is going to get everybody, so I got to say it. It's Freak of the Week, 2 Dead-Ass Hoes, 8 p.m. at IO.
Well, Kathy and I can both attest to seeing Claudia on the main stage at Second City, and you... ETC, I'm sorry, ETC.
Yeah.
And when we saw you, we didn't know you personally, but you, in our opinion, stole the show. So... it's no wonder you're doing what you're doing. And I want to thank you both for taking time out today to be with us. Best of luck to you on Meant to Be Seen. You can go to @ClaudeBoom, @ClaudeBoom on Instagram.
You have to have been better than Reagan. Remember Reagan from the Olympics?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She was definitely better than Reagan.
Definitely better than Reagan.
Well, I'm wishing you both a happy Easter, whatever you're going to be doing. And whatever you do, I know you'll do it with joy because you two are fabulous, fabulous people. And wishing you all the best. And Kat, hope to have you back on with us very soon, maybe even the Pride Parade.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Of course, good luck.
Good luck to you both.